Okay, so let's just jump right into the whole Bakugo being saved from death conversation. And I'm expecting a lot of people to hit the dislike button for what I'm about to say, but here it goes. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. Now, granted, as everyone who watches my recent My Hero Academia videos knows, I have been a big advocate for just killing Bakugo, just letting Bakugo die, that kind of thing. And the fact that Horikoshi and Imamura are walking this back and only use this as his death as a rating stunt is definitely disappointing to me. However, I'm not as angry about it as some other people, because there was that small part of me that did reserve judgment for the idea that he would be brought back, and from there it ultimately just became a question of how they were going to do it, and is all that really mattered to me. So knowing all this, just based on this chapter and how Horikoshi has handled it, my thought is simply this: the execution is more than a little clunky. But if you were to ask me my preferred way of resurrecting Bakugo, this is more or less how I'd want it to play out. Because for me, it was a question of whether they'd go the route of completely healing Bakugo, where he's at the peak of his health and nothing for him to worry about, basically the Eri method, or the route where he's healed but is left with some manner of physical scarring. And while we still have to take a wait and see approach on the latter one, just the whole idea of Edgeshot giving his life force to save Bakugo and becoming just the whole idea of Edgeshot needing to do a sort of makeshift surgery on Bakugo and give his life force to him, that in itself, it feels within the realm of possibility. For me, the way I'm feeling this is it feels a little bit like what had happened in One Piece with Doflamingo stitching his organs back together. That's kind of what I compare it to. And now for me, and while the whole thing with Edgeshot giving his life force to save Bakugo and becoming his new heart is still more than a little bit suspect to me, again, I do like the idea of performing makeshift surgery on Bakugo, and even if Edgeshot is giving his life force to Bakugo, I can't imagine there is still going to be it's not going to be a full-on solution to healing him. There is going to be something is bound to be has bound to be permanently damaged him. Again, I wish they had just let Bakugo die, but I do like this better I do like it better than if it involved Eri, who feels too much like a get out of jail free card. So this feels like much more of, again, this feels like just much more of an acceptable means to it. Now, with that said, now before I move on to the other notes I have, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, a bit of a ranty tangent, and I think this is where people are going to get a little mad at me, which is that, for those who don't know, for those who haven't heard, or in Iraq, there have been people who have been, I guess, burning their My Hero Academia manga, or just ripping them apart in response to Bakugo returning and to Bakugo being resurrected. And to that I have to say, to all of you who have burned your manga, ripped your manga apart, done whatever, all I have to say is, please, now kindly remove yourself permanently from the anime and manga community. And I mean, remove yourself and don't come fucking back. Ever. I am serious with this. Okay, I've tried to just kind of brush this shit under the rug, not even trying to, I have care, but I'm trying to just not give a shit about all these trolls and all those people who do this shit. But at this point, I have to say, if you do this shit, please remove yourself from the anime and manga community. Never come back, please. We will be healthier community without you. Anyone who does that, you are not welcome. So please, just remove yourself from it all. Just stop getting involved. Anime, manga, to those people who do this shit. Like, okay, Shonen Jump's practices aside, because those are pretty terrible, do you people understand that these manga artists kill themselves, break themselves for your entertainment, and you go and, like, whatever narrative disagreements you have, you decide to just go and burn or destroy this shit? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, again, is your own money, maybe the own money excuse, sure, whatever. But these are people who get like 4-5 hours of sleep day tops, and every other time they're working on manga non-stop. Yes, it might not seem like a, guess what? I'm gonna tell you guys, anyone who does this shit, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. It might look like a nice cushy job, but trust me, it ain't. It is not. Trust me. Like, if you've seen the stuff with the Gashi recently, the guy doesn't sound like he's, like, for example, the stuff with the Gashi recently. Yes, Hunter x Hunter returning, but from the sounds of it, the guy might not last much longer. But yeah, I'm sorry. Rant over. I needed to say that shit. But so yes, please just remove. If you do this shit, if you destroy manga, if you are so rageful that you want to destroy manga because of a narrative decision you disagree with, or burn it, whatever, just please kindly remove yourselves away from anime and manga society. I am begging you. Okay, rant over. I'm sorry, guys. I just needed to say that all. With that out of the way, though, let's talk about the whole scene in the USA where the president is formulating a plan to concede to whatever demand Shigaraki, for one may have, and what he sees as the likely event where he defeats the heroes, which, for as inspirational as Mr. Agpar's speech was, it also just goes to show what I had talked about last week of it all from one coming back at full strength and Shigaraki still on a rampage of destruction. Like, under such overwhelming force and circumstances, human nature will cause us to buckle under the pressure and weight of that power. So the president's response, and those from the other countries as well, isn't entirely unrealistic. Like, when you're faced with an overwhelming force that you can't respond to, this is what you will do. It doesn't matter which country you are, the USA, India, Canada, whatever, you will do this shit. They will just, us as human beings, we will do what we need to survive. That's basically the long and short of it. From that point on, however, and of course from that point on, like, it's all, Akbar talked about whoever's, and really when you get down to it, whoever's on the front lines fighting the good fight to be the ones to deliver justice or peace for the world are the ones you can only depend on. And in a lot of ways, I like how Akbar is saying, lead by example of the heroes who are fighting to preserve that peace and freedom. They're fighting for us, so we have to fight right alongside them as well. And again, a small moment, but one that I really feel does show a lot of humanity within it. And I feel more than anything, there have been a lot of those particular moments missing from this second half of the story. Just those raw human emotions, and they are there, but they're still there, but they're few and far between. And now, while I'm not going to say it's necessarily a retcon of the characters, as Yue basically is at the whole heart of all the hero society in the story, when you get down to the little backstory they give, Horikoshi gives Ed's shot of him and Genus being part of the textile club, does work, and I think we have heard of that before in their past, but pacing-wise, it felt a little rushed, almost like we needed a last-minute reason to care about Edshot's sacrifice, so Horikoshi just threw it in there, which in some ways also shows that for however much Horikoshi has been forced to downplay the villain's role in the story, it feels like that with certain heroes as well. Like, I know it's just one backstory, but it does feel like we were supposed to have more time in the story with Edshot and Genus than what we ultimately got. I don't know, like, just the more I think about everything this series could have been in the context of what he already had to sacrifice with the villains, it makes me wonder what else he had to throw at the story at the time. So, like, just a question of what ultimately how much of the hero set of story are missing, just like with the villains, is my question. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst, Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just shut everywhere. And guys, Dark Knight Une, signing off. Later, everyone.